Hey comic fans, welcome back to the Heroic Elite Comics. Today we're unpacking something that's got my nerd heart racing, the Absolute Superman series. And man, this isn't your grandpa Superman tale. This is a bold, fresh, and downright rebellious reimagining of the Man of Steel's origin, and I'm here for every single page of it. It's a story that flips everything we thought we knew about Superman and delivers a narrative so gripping, so raw, that it's like discovering Krypton for the first time. Buckle up, because we're about to take a wild ride through a dying planet, a corrupt society, and the making of a hero who's destined to change everything. Our story begins 6 years before the main events of Absolute Superman, and we're not in Smallville or Metropolis. We're on Krypton, a world of shimmering cities, purple prairies, and pink rolling hills. This isn't the Krypton where baby Kal-El is bundled into a rocket just as the planet explodes. No, this is a Krypton where we meet a young Kal-El, a kid with a spark in his eyes and a fire in his heart, growing up in a society that's both dazzlingly advanced and deeply flawed. For the first time, we get to see what it's like for Superman to be a child of his homeworld, running through its alien landscapes, breathing its air, and clashing with its rigid traditions. Kal's no golden boy here. He's a bit of an outcast, labeled too slow and too clumsy to qualify for the elite Long Guild Trading Academy. School's a struggle. His grades aren't good enough to land him a spot in the prestigious Science Academy, the golden ticket for Krypton's best and brightest. But Kal doesn't care about climbing the social ladder. He's happy in the Labor Guild, kicking it in the Redlands, a rural, untamed region far from the gleaming spires of Krypton's cities. Out there with his two best friends, he spends his days exploring the vibrant countryside, chasing freedom in a world that feels like it's trying to box him in. The Redlands, with its quiet beauty and endless horizons, is where Kal feels at home, far from the expectations of a society that doesn't quite know what to make of him. Even as a kid though, Kal's got a rebellious streak that's impossible to ignore. He's not one to swallow the official line without question, and that's where we see the seeds of the fearless journalist he'll become on Earth. His defiance comes to a head when his parents, Jor-El and Lara, get a call from his teacher. The message? Kal's stirring up trouble. He's refusing to use the Science Guild's Luminarium, a kind of Kryptonian database that's supposed to be the gold standard for information, for his school reports. Instead, he's writing his own, challenging the system and, by extension, 3,000 years of Kryptonian tradition. The teacher's practically frothing at the mouth, calling it a problem. But Jor-El and Lara, they see it differently. They take Kal to a secluded sanctuary, a place that feels like the Kryptonian blueprint for the Fortress of Solitude we know from Earth. It's not called that, but it's got that same vibe, a quiet refuge where truth can breathe. There, they deliver a message that's equal parts encouragement and rebellion. Keep going, Kal. You're brilliant, and just because the powers that be don't like what you're saying doesn't mean you're wrong. Keep questioning. Keep speaking out. It's a moment that hits hard, showing us parents who don't just love their son, but believe in his ability to see through the lies and fight for what's right. As Kal looks out at the Kryptonian sunset, he tells them, "Wherever my path takes me, I know it'll lead me back here, to you." It's a tender, fleeting moment of connection before the weight of reality crashes back in. Here's where things get dark. Krypton's ruling class, the Science Guild, likes to present itself as enlightened, a beacon of progress in the universe. But as the story unfolds, we see the ugly truth. They're corrupt to their core. The education they provide isn't about teaching kids to think for themselves. It's about control, about molding young minds to accept the status quo without question. Kal's refusal to play along is a direct threat to that system, and it's clear the Science Guild isn't about to let a kid like him rock the boat. What Kal doesn't know yet, but his parents do, is that Krypton is dying. Jor-El and Lara have been sounding the alarm, trying to warn the government about the planet's impending collapse. But unlike the classic DC stories where the ruling class dismisses them out of arrogance, here it's something more sinister. They're not just ignoring the warnings, they're hiding them. And Kal, sharp as he is, starts to pick up on the clues. One day, while exploring the Redlands, Kal stumbles across something that chills him to the bone. He finds a creature, some kind of Kryptonian hybrid, like a mix between a cat and a rabbit, covered in glowing green burns, scarred by radiation and minerals. It's not a one-off. As he rides his bike through the countryside, he sees more animals suffering, scorched by an unnatural heat radiating from the planet itself. The signs are everywhere. Crops withering overnight, herds of Zerts stampeding off cliffs in a blind panic, fish vanishing from from Kogo Lake. The fireballs, once a natural wonder, have turned into raging infernos. Volcanoes that once flowed with molten gold are now crusted over with strange scabby deposits. Even pearl divers in the Dandu River are being found dead, boiled alive in waters that should be safe. Kal, with his journalist instincts, sums it up perfectly. If something was sick inside the planet, it would make sense that the first people to feel the pain would be the ones with their hands in the dirt. The farmers and laborers of the Redlands are living the consequences of Krypton's collapse. But the Science Guild? They're spinning a different story. Their official newsfeed calls it natural gas leaks and isolated incidents. Nothing to worry about, folks. Keep calm and carry on. But Kal knows better, and his refusal to stay silent sets the stage for a showdown. During a school field trip to Kandor, Krypton's capital, Kal's had enough. On the train ride over, he pours everything he's seen, the dying crops, the suffering animals, the environmental chaos, into a raw, unfiltered news story and submits it to the school's news board. It's the kind of writing that would make any editor proud, but it's also a direct challenge to the Science Guild's narrative. By the time the train pulls into Kandor, his story's been deleted, his notes wiped from his tablet, and his parents are summoned for a meeting with the school administrator. The message is clear: the truth isn't welcome here. But the trip to Kandor reveals something even more shocking. When Kal's class arrives, they're told the science clerics, the big shots of the Science Guild, are too busy to meet with a bunch of kids. It's a flimsy excuse, and Kal's not buying it. Then, in a gut punch moment, he sees his father, Jor-El, being dragged away by authorities. Jor-El's been shouting from the rooftops that Krypton is doomed, but no one's listening. As he's stunned and hauled off, he spots Kal in the crowd and yells, "Go home! Find your mom! Get out of here!" Kal doesn't hesitate. He races home to Lara, his heart pounding with fear and determination. Lara, let me tell you, is a force of nature. In DC Comics history, she's always been portrayed as fiercely intelligent and unyielding, and this version takes it to a whole new level. When Kal tells her what happened, she doesn't flinch. She suits up in what looks like the prototype for Superman's iconic costume, grabs a massive gun that's as intimidating as it is awesome, and says, "We're breaking your dad out." This isn't just a mom protecting her family. This is a warrior ready to tear down the system to save the ones she loves. Together, they storm the Science Guild's headquarters, where Jor-El's being held. Lara's blasting through doors with a weapon that shoots, get this, molten lava. It's the coolest thing I've ever seen. A perfect fit for a geological engineer like her. Krypto even joins the fight, taking down a guard like a loyal sidekick. But as they battle their way through, Kal notices something strange. The place is eerily empty. No cops, no judges, just silence. Using stolen login codes, he hacks into the system and uncovers a truth that shakes him to his core. The Science Guild knows Krypton is dying. They've known all along, and instead of saving everyone, they've been building ships to evacuate the elite, leaving the rest of the planet to its fate. This revelation hits like a ton of bricks. Kal's parents thought the ruling class was ignoring them, but the truth is far worse. They're abandoning the common people to die. As Lara and Kal free Jor-El and make their escape, the family comes together to face the harsh reality. Jor-El and Lara lay out their plan. They're not just sending Kal off in a rocket alone. They're building a ship to save as many Kryptonians as possible to give everyone a chance to escape the planet's destruction. And Kal, ever the rebel, reveals his own secret. He's the one who leaked the Science Guild's plans to the public, exposing their betrayal from the Central Law Guild office in Kandor. "I'd do it again too," he says, his defiance shining through. The story takes a poignant turn as we flash forward to Earth, to the Smallville Senior Living Facility in central Kansas. An elderly woman, frail and fading, calls out for her son, her angel. It's Martha Kent, and her words hit like a punch to the gut. "Where did you go? Come back to me." According to her records, she never had children, but we know the truth. Superman arrived on Earth, was adopted by the Kents, and then, for reasons we don't yet know, he left. It's a heartbreaking mystery, one that leaves us hungry for more. This, my friends, is absolute Superman at its finest. It's a story of rebellion, truth, and family, set against the backdrop of a corrupt society in a dying world. It's a Superman who's not just a hero, but a kid with a fire in his soul, a journalist in the making, and a son who carries the weight of his parents' hopes. No shade to the main DC Superman comics, but this is peak storytelling, no pun intended. Okay, maybe a little intended. So what do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and if you're new here or need to catch up, check out our playlist for more on Absolute Superman. Until next time, keep reading, keep geeking out, and I'll catch you all later. Peace.